Welcome back to Give Me Rent, everyone. This is Dylan, Brandon, and Noah. With the new year starting off, I think it's a good time for us to talk about our most anticipated of the year. Let's get cracking and start with our most anticipated TV shows of the year. I think we've all probably have like a number one most anticipated for the year. Brandon, what would be your most anticipated TV show for the year?
Weird shout by me, but I want to say Lanterns.
I don't think that's
Another
weird at all.
household, big name from DC Universe. I mean, just a big superhero in general. And now what? We're exploring the rated R field. Um, Interesting to see how that's done. You have multiple lanterns, that are going to be in the show. You have Hal as a mentor, which is it's weird. He's going to be older than Superman, Batman, the rest of the universe, but we have John Stewart, who's a fan favorite of mine, fan favorite of everyone else's. Love him. He's my favorite Lantern. Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner's rumored, and just seeing another space project because I think we won't be there fully. I know we've talked about this before, but there are going to be times where they definitely do go to space or even Oa, and to see something that isn't the Guardians of the Galaxy, because that's kind of been the blueprint for in space superhero content. Now we're steering away from that. We're going to get something different, hopefully, and fresh.
Yeah, I mean you're right because it is also R rated and revolving around a galactic superhero. That is very intriguing off the rip, and I think the talent behind this show is so intriguing. You got
Oh,
Damon
100%.
Lindelof as the showrunner on the show. He has from Lost fame and even Watchmen from HBO, which I personally like. I know that's not for everyone, but I really enjoyed that series. I think that was a great look at what he could do with DC, and I'm excited that he's coming back for another R-rated project in DC Comics. Yeah, anything Lindelof does, I'm pretty excited for. Huge fan of Lost, so excited to see him explore. This new DCU kind of world. And yeah, I feel like the casting is very interesting. What we haven't really learned too much outside of Hal and John. We know Guy is going to be back in the show as well. But Brandon, what do you think about Kyle Chandler getting casted as Hal, an older, as you mentioned, an older Hal Jordan?
I will say this, it's not traditional for us to see an older Hal out of nowhere,
Hmm.
just because they're all usually around the same age. Superman's in his late 20s. Batman was originally supposed to be older. Now there's rumors he's not going to be. Now they kind of scrapped that age idea.
Well, yeah, they did
And
say you would have a kid. So yeah, there's a lot up in the air with like a lot of the main players of I guess the Justice League,
yeah,
and how they're going to age them. But I feel like John being I guess maybe the main Lantern of this show, or maybe being trained in this show by Hal. I think we're going to maybe see him get ramped up to join
yeah.
possibly the Justice League.
Which I have no issue with because John Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern. We know
Hmm.
a lot of the people that do go into these DC projects, not just James Gunn, but a lot of people have turned to look at these animated projects that have capsulated the Justice League and and company, because there's members that they've showed that aren't even a part of the league but they're DC heroes. People have like looked at that and really made that like their blueprint. So hopefully that's what's going to happen. I would like to see a very accurate John Stewart to this with Hal as a mentor, but I don't want
It is
Hal.
exciting that we're getting two, I guess, galactic based projects for the DCU this year, which is a good jump, from Superman, which
Yeah,
he is also a galactic superhero, but he's very much that movie especially really focused on the human side of him. So I'm
100%.
excited to continue, I guess, learning about Kryptonians as well as now lanterns in a different kind of view. Which also even besides lanterns, Supergirl has a very intriguing, I guess, crew behind it. It's not exactly James Gunn. They're James Gunn approved projects. I'm excited for the DCU to start giving us non-gun projects. Yeah, this will be our first. Tell we got we got some other one other this year too potentially. Where they're still kind of up in the that's still kind of up in the air. But yeah, I'm excited to see someone new venture into the DCU. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, I think that's a great pick. I don't think that's a weird pick at all, Brandon.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
moving on, I guess Noah, what would you say is your number one? Well, yeah, I feel it's weird because there's not too much TV that I'm excited about this year. We got a couple things, Lanterns I am excited about, but I think a superhero TV show that I am slightly more excited for over Lanterns is the return of X-Men '97. And I think personally, this is my most anticipated Marvel project of the year, like even over Doomsday. So like I just feel like the writing was so top notch in that first season, and I think it was such a great reintroduction, or I guess introduction to some to the X-Men and, their dynamics. It's a great, more mature continuation of what we got in the 90s while also being a great project that can bring in new fans. And I think what they left us off with in season 1 was really, really intriguing. I mean, we have a season set up for Apocalypse to be the main bad guy, who we'd seen in the original series before, but he was a great antagonist there, and I'm excited to see him now in a more mature show, and possibly we might get the return of Gambit, who was debatably the best character of the first season. I'm excited to see what they do with him, the Horseman storyline, and this is a series that really, really loves the comics, the source material. We've seen that this show doesn't stray away from recreating moments while also doing its own thing. It's just such a faithful while also being very exciting. Really hyped for season 2. They really spend their time on this show. It takes a while to produce, and it shows. So yeah, I'm really excited for X-Men 97.
Yeah, great pick. I mean, season 1 exceeded, I think, everyone's expectations. It was phenomenal. The animation is incredible, probably the best animated project that Marvel has put out.
And guys, doesn't it just feel good to have a 2D animated superhero show on? Like, I feel like with anime being as popular as it is, like, we would have more of these.
No, agreed. And X-Men 97, we talk about it all the time. That's one of my favorite animated superhero shows of all time. And
Yeah, even just
I'm
with
so
one
happy
season,
it's
yeah.
back. I'm so happy it's back.
Yeah, it was that good. Brandon, you're right. Like, after one season, you can generally say that. It was
It makes
really
you miss
good.
like DC, Marvel, like well-written projects. I feel like we just don't get the TV shows we used
Well
to.
written animated projects, you're right,
Yeah.
where they dominated the 90s. The era and X-Men stands out amongst those shows. It was such a great adaptation, even though it was a little restrained. It was for kids originally,
Yeah.
but they did a really good adaptation and good representation of the characters.
I will say I know longevity with animated stuff. Like obviously it's going to be DC, but Marvel's best animated work is phenomenal still. And I'm not talking about movies, but their TV shows.
They
like
both had really fleshed out universes in the 90s.
yeah, they
in
really
animation.
did. They put a lot of love into it. And then there's other companies that did. Image had a couple of shows too. That were phenomenal.
I would love to
Max
see a
and
return to all these 2Ds like Spawn. I think if they were to possibly do another series, it is still possible to continue Spawn. Very mature series. I'm sure a lot of people haven't even heard of it. So if you have not heard of it, look it up, give it a shot. It's an HBO mature, superhero cartoon.
It might be one of the best superhero shows I've seen. And
I think season 1 for sure. Yeah, it definitely stumbles a
season
little
1.
bit after that, but
Yeah, but the quality is still there. Is longevity? Like it's
oh
still
yeah, it was definitely ahead of its time.
100%. But yeah, moving on from superheroes or possibly superheroes, Dylan, what would be your pick?
I think you know my pick already, so yeah, I'm gonna completely shift gears here, and it's a show that's coming out at the end of this month, but I'm so excited for it to return for season 3. Shrinking. It's an Apple. I don't think Brandon you've even seen this show, but
I haven't. So
it is an insanely endearing show starring Jason Segel and also insanely funny. It really kind of caught me by surprise. I kind of got to it late, but I think the cast is so solid in this series, and it's such a digestible watch as well. It's only like a 30-minute episode each time, and this season is bringing in some new cast members that got me really excited, including Michael J. Fox, who is returning to acting to be in this series. So that shows the talent that this series draws. I'm just very excited to see another kind of half drama, half comedy series back. Apple TV has been absolutely killing it in 2025. They did amazing with Pluribus and Severance and a bunch of other things, and a lot of other things. So I'm just excited for this show to return. It's actually been a minute. I think it's been about maybe like a year and a half since season 2, maybe 2 years even. It took some time, but I'm so excited. And it's clear that it takes time because, the cast is kind of stacked, and I'm sure it takes time to get these people in one place.
I will say, for Shrinking, it also caught me, very off guard because, you got Harrison Ford, Jason Segel, and I felt like, you feel like this for a lot of Apple shows. There's not enough marketing around it. And I got to say, this is an insane vehicle for Harrison Ford. Like, where they left us off, I don't want to spoil it, but the last episode of Shrinking had one of, I'd say, Harrison's best monologues in the last 10 years. And, I've loved a lot of the things he's done, especially, like, Blade Runner 2049, those things. But Shrinking has been an insane vehicle for Harrison Ford.
Yeah, especially at his age. I feel like a lot of his, newer work has been him revisiting a lot of his older characters. So shrinking is completely new ground for him, and it's him doing a very truthful and kind of something that's actually to his age, not him just playing Han Solo again or something like that.
I feel like you say truthful. I think a big word to give Shrinking is honest. And it's a show that it delves with a lot of major themes, a lot of themes of grief and, moving on. I mean, the show revolves around a guy whose wife passed away. That's the major premise of the show. It's a shrink who, something bad happens to him and he needs others to kind of, become his shrink. It's very interesting. That's not exactly what the show's about, but it is an interesting look into, very interesting themes. It's funny, but it can be very heartfelt at times. And I think that it's a good outlet, if you are going through something. This is a really good show to, honestly process your grief. And, it's funny when it needs to be because it's very human. It's very honest.
Yeah, I think that's insanely well said. All these picks are great. I'm excited for all three of these shows because you got some returning stuff here, got some new stuff. Very excited for that. But let's move on to film because, guys, 2026 is absolutely stacked when it comes to film. I am so excited for this year. I'm just going to get started. I think we'll all narrow it down to what our top 5 picks for movies this year. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's cool. I definitely have a weird list.
Yeah, I mean, good. This year has so much to offer. I'm going to start off right now with this is a weird pick for my list as well, but I just wanted to shout it out. For my number 5, I'm going to go with Scary Movie 6 because
Wow.
I know I'm hearing some shock in your voice because I am so excited, especially for the theater experience for this one. Yeah. I'm just excited to see this in a crowd of people. I'm so excited that the Wayans brothers are back because, let's be real, the last Scary Movie was not so great, even though, these aren't great movies. They are just insanely fun watches, especially in crowds of people. So I'm just excited to get that feeling again.
The best is I say I don't care about people's feelings, so everyone's getting offended. So I want that type of comedy back. I know sometimes I might be too crude, but at the end of the day, we got to look at past it and just look at it as just humor at the end of the day. So I'm excited to see some comedy coming back, to its roots like it used to be.
I honestly agree because I think we've even said this on the channel before. Because they promised to really not dumb it down. And it's a big return for the Wayans brothers. They haven't done a scary movie since Scary Movie 2. I'm just excited, for them to be spoofing current things. We don't get a lot of these movies anymore. It's gonna be interesting to see it when it comes out because if it is big, well, like I've said before, we're gonna see a ton of these movies again.
100%. We need this type of
we'll
comedy
get a lot
back.
of slop because of it, but I am excited to see a potentially really funny spoof movie again. I hope the Wayans deliver.
Well, I'm going to be honest. There was a great spoof movie in 2025. I mean, The Naked Gun was great, and at least in my opinion, I had a lot of fun with The Naked Gun, and even Fackham Hall, which I saw really recently, like a British spoof comedy, which I thought was very funny as well. Very under the radar though. No one really saw that, but I think spoof movies definitely still have a place. Like there is a place for them in cinema. Obviously, they're not Oscar caliber films or anything like that. They're spoofing things, but very excited to see this one in theaters.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't mention those films because I'm really just excited, to see them spoofing contemporary things again. I think that, Scary Movie 5 was over 10 years ago at least. And it definitely left a sour taste in my mouth. It was not even as enjoyable as 3 and 4, which obviously took a dip in quality, losing the Wayans. But I'd even look at those movies, as kind of classic spoof movies. The Scary Movie franchise is kind of the template for a lot of spoof franchises.
Agreed.
So I'm excited. But I think jumping, from spoofs, I'll do my pick. I think I'm going to keep it in the comedy realm. And I'm very excited for this movie because it wasn't even supposed to come out for a little while here. But luckily it is now. We're getting Coyote vs. Acme finally. I'm so excited to see another live action animated hybrid movie because I think for me it was when I think about those films, it's just it takes me back to a fond time in my childhood. When Looney Tunes Back in Action came out. Obviously I was watching Space Jam all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I
Chip
think
and Dale Rescue Rangers, huh?
Exactly. I think that one, which came out in the 2020s and hasn't really been seen by many, I'd assume, really caught me off guard. I love that movie. It was a Lonely Island produced
really well. It
was such a random type film, but I will say it worked very well. I love the mesh, of live action with animation when it's done well. The comedy can really be there. I mean, I'm a huge Who Framed Roger Rabbit fan, and following in the footsteps of that are pretty much all these films. But Coyote versus Acme, it's got a lot of talent. It's Will Forte, John Cena. I don't even understand how they could ever scrap this movie. It was there was a time where this movie, I mean, like a year ago, like this movie was not coming out, and it is. I'm happy to say, yeah, it's been acquired and it's finally going to be distributed. I really hope it delivers. I hope it wasn't the reasons it wasn't coming out were because of quality. Because I really loved the Looney Tunes film that came out, the day the Earth blew up, which was also distributed by the same company, Ketchup or whatever it's called. I'm really happy they're doing the same for Coyote versus Acme. And yeah, I think that I'm all for it. I really hope it does well and we can get more Looney Tunes stuff as well.
Agreed. I'm so happy this is back and it got picked up. I mean, we talked about it so long ago how Disney took it out.
I mean, even if this movie is bad, I'm just like, it could be bad, it could be whatever, but I'm just happy it got picked up because for an entire film to just be shelved like that is ridiculous.
Feel bad for Brendan Fraser in Batgirl, but it is.
That too. They scrapped a couple movies. It's just unbelievable. It's just, how is that even a thing?
Yeah.
For tax write-offs, like what is going on right now? Like these are movies that people spent their blood, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into, and they're just not going to release them. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
So yeah, I think that's a good pick, even if it ends up being bad. It's just like I'm excited to see a film that people put some hard work into.
Yeah.
Well, a huge thing, before we move on, the last thing I'll say about Coyote vs. Acme is just the fact that leading up to it getting picked up and acquired, the stars of the film have really spoken out and been like, yeah, this is a really funny movie. It's like it shocked them that it was pulled like that. So I'm really excited. It's got good word of mouth from the town in the film and people who have seen it already. I'm really hoping it delivers, but we'll see. I am just happy. You're right. I'm happy that it's coming out.
Yeah. All right, Brandon, what's your number 5 pick?
So it might be basic. I really want to do Resident Evil or even Silent Hill, but just because of how much pain I endured as a DC fan, I'm really putting Supergirl at 5. Just the years of nothing being done properly, nothing being done true to the characters. James Gunn comes in. We're seeing some light here, between Creature Commandos, between Peacemaker season 2 and 1. I thought were true to a lot of the characters, references the universe. I mean, even the Superman movie. And now, we get to explore space in DC. And DC's best elements that nobody really talks about is space and the underworld, such as hell. And like anything regarding demons and dark magic. Now that we're finally going to get, we had a little bit of dark magic in Creature Commandos. Now we're getting space with Supergirl. I've always said this before before James Gunn even got the job. I said it to you guys. I said to everybody that Lobo should have been a character and it should have been Jason Momoa. Been saying that forever.
He's been saying that forever.
But I said it just because the way he looked. Ironically, here we are now. Fast forward, 8 years? But
took a while.
This is what I want to see out of the movie is I want this to be true to the character, but I want us to explore some other lore. I feel like Superman didn't open enough about the gate of what we're going to see in the future. But Peacemaker Season 2 had a little bit of references to the new gods and such. So I think Supergirl might have some lore building with it, especially then Lanterns right afterwards. So my biggest My biggest anticipation with this movie is the lore it's going to extend for the fans, what everyone's been asking for, what else is going on, what else has been established. And I think she's perfect for the role. The trailer looked really good. It looks like a safe movie, but I also think it's going to do some positive stuff for, the long run of the company and the genre.
I really hope you're right. I think some of the things that intrigue me about it is that it's a semi sort of adaptation of a very popular Supergirl, run in comics, Woman of Tomorrow. I think that them, really showing us even already that she is not Superman. It's not a carbon copy. Like, we've got another Supergirl movie, decades ago that, it was just trying to be Superman again. I'm happy that, at least from the trailer, we could see it's distinctly not trying to be Superman. So I am happy about that.
Yeah, and with Lex coming out of prison, a crazy thing. I wonder if we see a reference to Power Girl or something. I was thinking that. I'm like, I could kind of see that. Like, it's lining up. Lex has escaped from Peacemaker season 2, if I remember that correctly. I could be wrong, but
Oh,
I
he's
don't know.
not out yet, but
He's
it's
not out. I
they're
thought,
obviously planting the seeds for that.
yeah, I remember he was going to get out, but I'm curious to see what happens. She's a great character. She has a lot of cool stories following
Yeah.
her, a lot of
I
cool.
think I
Like,
do agree with you. Millie Alcock is a great choice for the
she
character.
is
too.
great. I loved her in that. I
Just
really
look
did.
wise, just purely off look
Well,
wise.
the
She
personality
looks
too,
great.
the immaturity of being a teenager. That's what Supergirl's been in almost every show we've seen her in. We've seen her in a lot of anime projects, even in the comics. She is very immature. She's not on the same maturity
Yeah.
level as Clark. It's been displayed. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick for your 5. I guess we'll move on. I'll go to my 4. I'm probably going to go. This one just looks super interesting off the trailer, and I'm just happy to see Phil Lord and Chris Miller back on the directing chairs. Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
I think this movie looks insanely interesting. I'm always seated for sci-fi films, and I'm just really excited. I think this will have a great comedic spin, and this one just looks really exciting to me.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to see Lord and Miller back in live action to start off. With this film specifically, I couldn't even tell you actually how I feel about how it looks because I've specifically avoided the trailers. I'm just seated because it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller like back. Like obviously Ryan Gosling's a pull as well. But yeah, I really loved everything they've done really since like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Like even prior to that, like their entire career, all their stuff is really, really. I love most of it, I'd say, and the Spider-Verse films have obviously been amazing. But yeah, I'm excited to see them. I think this is their first live action since 22 Jump Street.
I'm so excited to see them do something new, especially venture back into live action. I think it's just I'm happy to see that because yeah, they've had their minds set on Spider-Verse for quite a long time now.
Yeah, and I think Gosling is a good pairing with them.
Yeah,
He's done some questionable things in the last few years. Gosling, he's really, I guess, expanded his filmography in an interesting way. Doing Netflix movies, doing Barbie. I'm excited to see him in this role that definitely just kind of like the Fall Guy seems to be really using his comedic talents pretty well. I wasn't so big on that film, but I do think, with the sci-fi element and it being based on a pretty beloved novel, this has a lot of potential to be something special. It's also coming out in IMAX, which, seems like it's going to be a pretty big movie.
Noah, what would you be your number 4 pick for the year?
So this is, I think, number 4. I gotta go with it's a Netflix movie, but Peaky Blinders. I'm really, really excited for the Immortal Man, and I will say I think after seeing the trailer, I'm even more confident in it. I'm so excited that post Oppenheimer, Killian was like, we owe it to the fans to really complete this thing, because I didn't love the last season of Peaky. I don't know if you guys watched that series.
Yeah, I haven't even completed Peaky yet, but yeah, it's interesting to me that
but
it's just
great
really
stuff.
interesting that his choice after winning the Oscar for Best Lead Actor is to return to his most famous character, Tommy Shelby.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they're doing a feature film.
Yeah, no, I'm really hoping for a decently wide theatrical release. I'm definitely going to try to see it in theaters if possible. It looks very good. It's very interesting time period. It's, World War II, Peaky Blinders, and there's a lot of talent joining Killian in this movie, including Rebecca Ferguson, which is just insane to me that she's joining. Yeah, exactly. Barry's joining. And they did announce that there might be even more to follow the show. I don't know how I feel about that, but I am excited to see that we're finally going to complete Tommy's story.
Yeah,
I think it was
I gotta
much
catch up
needed.
to the show to get ready for this. I'm very excited for
Yeah,
it.
listen, the show it had its faults in season 6. There's a lot of actual things working against them in that season as well. But I feel like it was still very enjoyable. Killian obviously kills it. He's Killian Murphy. I'm really happy that he's coming back. I'm happy that Tommy's coming back. It looks very good. And I really hope that Stephen Knight delivers on this one.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick.
Yep.
I guess let's move on.
So I have a really weird pick for this one. We talked about this before. I love video games. There's not a lot that have been adapted pretty well. Sonic's doing successful, but it's a struggling genre to put on the big screen. I really want Super Mario Galaxy to do well. Mario's a household name for not just Nintendo video game, like just as a character. And, I was, I thought Charlie Day was a weird pick. Chris Pratt, like I really did. But with the route that they went for the story, it's enjoyable.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's
the best
funny you
movie
say
of all
Charlie
time.
Day first because I actually think he was the best
No, he was.
He
I loved him
surprised
as
me a lot, but
Luigi.
I would say after seeing that first movie, yeah, Charlie Day
And
did do a really good
Ben
job as Luigi.
Ben Safdie as Bowser Jr. is crazy too. But
That
seeing
is
all
nuts.
it's nuts. But seeing all these other characters and just
Yeah.
how it looks amazing, like just the way
With
it looks. I'm not
Safdie though,
even-
just the fact that he's playing Agamemnon in the Odyssey and Bowser Jr. in the same year, it's just so funny to
It's
me. That's
range, but
hilarious.
I'm very excited because I want the genre to do well. I want to see other characters explored. I want,
Yeah.
this to kind of light a fire to the genre. Sonic's doing well, Mario. Like, I want Crash Bandicoot at some point to get something,
Yeah.
I
Oh
want
yeah. No, I mean, I do want there to
Ratchet
be
and
more
Clank
Nintendo projects. Yeah.
had one of the craziest trailers when it came out years ago. Do I remember the movie? No, it was so long ago, but just the advertising for video game movies in general always does well. Now I want the movies to do well. I don't want it to just be, oh, the trailer looked great, the movie was at.
Yeah.
There's a
I think the
reason.
best thing about video game content, we have talked about this on the channel, especially with The Last of Us, is that it shows the stories to audiences that wouldn't necessarily pick up a controller and play these
100%.
stories.
100%. Some people just like the characters and, the way it looks or just maybe even the movie. But, I want this genre to get explored. And Super Mario Galaxy is one of the best games we have played growing up. I'm not going to put it like top 10 or say anything, but it is one of the best games I've ever played growing up.
Oh,
And
I love Super
seeing,
Mario Galaxy.
seeing them
I do
make
think
this.
it's a weird jump
No, I
from,
was about to
from
say,
the first one to Galaxy.
I was
Yeah.
just about to say that. Doing a jump from just kind of building the universe to immediately Super Mario Galaxy is weird. But I'll let it rock. Maybe we get a Mario Kart movie in the future, which would be
Yeah.
very cool.
Maybe we get a Smash Bros movie in the future. We don't. I think.
I want a Samus movie. That's really me.
Yeah.
Like,
Judging by the
Metroid
numbers of the
Reset.
first movie, I do think this will do well. I think they'll keep pushing out Nintendo stuff. So I'm
Yeah,
curious
give me a
what
Kirby
their.
movie. Give me a
Yeah.
Kirby
No, I'm
movie.
just curious what their plans are. Like it.
A lot of these
Yeah.
franchises
We
had
got
TV
Zelda
shows.
coming. That is going to be live action, which be a very different kind of take. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I am excited to see what they do with Galaxy for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of these franchises had TV shows that did well. Like Sonic X. Sonic had a lot of shows. Mario had a couple. Kirby did. So I really want to see the movies do well. Just
I mean,
for
it's
the
no
genre.
denying that the Mario Brothers movie was ginormous. It was huge. Like,
No,
it's-
it was. Whether you liked it or
Billion-dollar
not, the
movie.
movie did well.
Yeah, I think that these are very digestible movies, especially for kids. You can tell they're very sped up and they don't take too much time with a lot of things I would like to see as being an adult fan. But I
Yeah.
will say, that first movie is definitely an enjoyable, at least introduction to Mario for kids.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of references for the fans as well. But I do hope we get some more with this one. I'm a huge Galaxy fan. That's probably my favorite Galaxy or Galaxy 1 are probably my favorite games from the franchise. Galaxy 2, yeah, Galaxy 2. My apologies. I think that it looks like they're meshing Galaxy with Odyssey, which I don't love. But at the same time, there's exciting visuals there at least. With the desert world. You see a
Yeah.
lot of worlds from Galaxy as well. But yeah, it looks like they're kind of meshing, especially with Bowser Jr. It looks like they're meshing things even from 3D Land in there. It's meshing a bunch of different games and it's called Galaxy. So it's very interesting. It looks like it's going to be more of the same with how they pace it and all that. But it does look like another fun time.
Agreed.
All right, so yeah, moving on. I think I'll just go with my next pick, though, and I'll just pick mine. So my number 3 going in this looks like a very intriguing movie. I don't know much about it yet, but a movie called Flower Vale Street is coming out. Supposedly, as of now, it's coming in August, and it's a David Robert Mitchell movie who is from It Follows fame. And me and Dylan personally, I love that movie, and we are getting a sequel. They follow eventually, but this is going to be his film before that. And it stars Ewan McGregor, Anne Hathaway, and it revolves around a family in the 1980s that starts seeing mysterious things in their town. And one other detail we know about it is that it involves dinosaurs in some way. We're getting a horror mystery with dinosaurs in there. All of the talent behind it just makes me so intrigued. We also have J.J. Abrams producing this film. And there's been a lot of buzz internally from people, from test reactions, all that this is a very interesting mystery / horror movie. And with dinosaurs thrown into the mix, there's an image from this film. The only image I can see from it is a ginormous dinosaur shrouded in darkness. That
Y'all know
alone,
I love my dinosaurs.
exactly. That's why I wanted to mention it too. I feel like just seems like such an intriguing movie, and I kind of hope it's like a weapons situation, where this is our big kind of tentpole horror film for the year. Maybe I'm wrong about it being outright horror. I don't know too much about it, but with all these details, I'm just so intrigued. It's weird to put it on my list of top 5, but the talent behind it just has me so excited.
Yeah,
I mean,
dinosaur
yeah,
horror movies have not really been touched. Like, yeah, Jurassic Park, sure, but it's
it's
just
like
not
horror
horror.
adjacent. I feel like
Yeah,
Jurassic Park. You know?
yeah, it is. It's not horror. Like Primitive Warfare wasn't horror, but it was pretty gory. Like there was a lot of death.
Yeah, because
Wasn't a lot of
dinosaurs
horror.
definitely go. They mess you up if you come face to face with a Velociraptor. You know?
That wouldn't even be the thing I'd be scared of. But yeah,
Yeah, no, there's a
there's
bunch of
way
other.
worse.
Yeah, I guess you could get worse. That's true.
So yeah, I mean, this is another Warner Brothers release, and I,
Yep.
I really say, despite what's happening, internally with Warner Bros. All that, I really loved what they did this year, especially in the horror realm. We're big fans of weapons here. I would love to see them continue a streak going of really solid, kind of higher budgeted horror movies. Well, by higher budget, like 30 million, but still.
Yeah, I like that you went and picked something that is kind of there's not really much out about this film. There's no trailer or anything. It just it purely seems intriguing off the cast and who was directing it. I totally agree with that. The whole crew of this movie just it seems interesting. Everyone they got together for it.
Yeah, like I love me some Ewan McGregor, Anne Hathaway. She has a huge year coming up. That's for sure. With the Odyssey, especially.
Yeah.
Zendaya does as well. She's probably the actress with like the most projects coming out. But yeah,
Oh.
I will say when I saw the cast of Flower Vale Street, I was just so intrigued. Like the pairing of Ewan and Anne seems like it could be like really really fun. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, good pick. I'll move on to I mean, thanks for hopping in there, but I think for my third pick for the year, I know I have a feeling you guys probably will have this on your list as well, but I'm gonna have to throw it out there. Dune Messiah. It's coming this year. I'm
Yeah, that's
so
that's
excited.
second on my list actually. So I'm not
Yeah,
even.
I
I'm
am
guessing, yeah, I'm not gonna
so.
do it.
Is it on your list as well, Noah?
Yeah, it's number 2.
It's actually number one for me. I think that personally, Dune 2 is probably my top three of the 2020s. I think it's just
It's so good.
incredible science fiction. Denny, I think it's. I will say because we have more Dune content with Dune Prophecy existing. That show, and you said this to me the other day, Don. That show is kind of proof that Denny is a huge part of why Dune is so memorable and successful. Like obviously you have an all-star cast, but what Denny brought to the table with his story, there's a lot of changes in Dune from the novel. I think they all really worked, and I'm excited to see him do Messiah. And it's Dune Part 3 now, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's what it's called. But it is, yes, of course, an adaptation of Messiah, which takes place, I think, a good 15 years after the events of Part 2.
Yeah, I like that you're mentioning that. Denny is a huge part of this because it's so clear that the entire cast just full-heartedly trusts this man. Like
Yeah.
he knows what he is doing.
I don't know about you guys, but especially after seeing Marty Supreme, it just got me really excited more for Dune
Oh,
because I'm
yeah.
like, I can't wait to see Chalamet on the screen again.
It is his biggest role now. Yeah, obviously his biggest role so far is being Paul. And I
Yeah.
think he also put his hands into Wonka and stuff like that too. But I do think his biggest role is undoubtedly Paul, and I'm just so excited to see a probably much different version of this character. Let's be real. He's going to be older. He's if those who haven't read the second Dune novel, it's an interesting jump where it leads into.
Yeah, I think personally, looking at Chalamet, it's so weird because like in the first movie, he's been good in both the Dune movies, but it's a crazy progression from the first to the second. Where in that second, he really does take on that leading strongman role, takes on the full like conqueror Paul Atreides, not even conqueror, but you know what I mean. It was such a great jump, and you're right. With the third movie, we're gonna have an even further jump. It's gonna show him post conquering the galaxy, Paul, and he's obviously done a lot. There's been a lot of death, leading into Dune Messiah. It is going to be a very interesting movie with different themes than the first two.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. Enough said about Dune 3. Everyone's excited for this thing. I am so excited for it. But let's move on. Brandon, your number 3 pick.
It's I feel so bad picking another superhero project, but I'm gonna say Clayface, and my reason being is villains
No,
have not been,
that's a good pick because this one seems really interesting.
you know, villains haven't been done properly in the fact of they all get turned. When they get Soul movie, oh, it's an anti-hero now or an anti-villain. It's like keep them a villain. Clayface is a monster. I mean, this is connected to DCU. We get to see him in Creature Commandos, so we know what he's going to look like. And the fact we have more horror behind it and body dysmorphia and seeing a lot of these things, and it's a horror movie, it's rated R. That is what is needed for this character. And I think this will do well because, like I always say with superhero content, people want more mature things. People want more mature content, more rated R stuff, boundaries pushed. This might be that project to open that door even a little bit more and make supervillain or superhero horror movies. The
Yeah,
horror
I
film,
think
you know?
that's perfectly said because I always think of films like Joker and Venom, with the villain movies. And Joker is obviously the better, case of it. Obviously, we got Joker 2, but it
Joker
was
2
such a
off.
big jump for the comic book genre. And that's why Joker, when it came out, was such a big deal.
Yeah.
Even though Clayface is set in a, wider universe, I'm really hoping Clayface does a similar thing. You're right.
100%. I just want it to be scary, whether it's hit. I mean, think he's going to scar the fans a little bit, the audience, because we're going to see some gruesome things. But I wonder if he's going to be killing people in ways that do make it a horror, or maybe he's getting chased by Batman. We won't know.
I don't know
But
about Batman being in it, but I think the straight horror from it. You're right. Like you said, is that making it a body horror movie, and like if you really make his initial transformations really horrific, there's
that's what's
something
needed
there.
because I don't want it to just be Batman villains getting a solo movie, but I mean, if we got a Killer Croc horror film, I think that'd be a great film to open up. I mean, even Professor Pig, but I
It's
don't want it
bold
to be.
because it's so early on in this
Yeah,
universe
it
too.
is, but I feel like there's a reason for it. I mean, there's no reason,
We'll see.
he just greenlights projects. So
Dude,
I
if honestly, one of the reasons I was excited when Gunn took over though was to see like these kind of projects that can maybe stand on their own too. It doesn't need to set anything up.
no, it
I'd be
doesn't,
really
but
excited to see him just introduced to. So like, yeah, you can have him in a Batman movie eventually or something like
I
that.
I think we will have not a Legion of Doom reference, but I mean he ends up getting recruited by Cersei and like or not Cersei, but he ends up getting recruited in general, like in Creature Commandos. So I'm not saying this is setting that up, but I think it's gonna flesh out the villains
That
more
is a
than
good
we
shout of his appearance in Creature Commandos. That's fair. I
like
do think they might take some liberties with it still though. They could change
no.
the design. They could even change maybe, the character they're really trying to make here because it wasn't in it too much. But yeah, you're right. It's interesting that we've seen the character before
He's in
in the
it playing
universe.
Mortal Kombat and then destroys, Flag
Yeah.
Senior.
And it's something interesting about the Clayface movie too is that, it's directed by someone who has had he's had his run in horror. It's
Yeah,
directed by James Watkins, who I don't know if you guys saw it, but he did the remake of Speak No Evil from 2024, which
I did see it.
it was you did or you didn't.
I did. I saw some of it. I didn't finish it. I
Yeah, I
wasn't the
mean it's
biggest fan.
definitely it's got its good moments of intensity and scares, but it is a remake. It wasn't as good as the original. He made another movie though called Eden Lake. It is messed up. It is a cruel movie.
Which
So
is
I will
why I'm
say,
excited for this.
exactly. I agree because this is someone who definitely gets terror. So I'm really hoping this is, reflected as like very much in line with his filmography. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that it isn't meddled with too much. Gunn has, he stays true to his word. It's really about this creative vision. I hope that is why they chose to make this.
Yeah, and just the benefit of the long run is horror's been on a tear. So people seeing, oh, we have a villain horror movie now, not just a villain movie. Like I think that's gonna attract a lot of people, and DC's already attracting fans and revitalizing the company and the brand name. This could be a step for them in the right direction, but also could be a step down. We'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure. I guess jumping to my number two, you guys are gonna be mad at me again because I know this is this is probably maybe your number ones because I'm honestly shocked I didn't put this at number one. It's definitely very very close between my number one and two for the
Just
year.
say the Odyssey. I know it.
Yeah, it's Nolan's The
That's my
Odyssey.
one. That
Yeah,
was my
that's your one. No problem. I mean, let's talk about it briefly. We've talked about it plenty of times before, especially after we saw that new 6 minute sequence that they attached to Avatar. But what more do I really have to say about this? This is a Nolan. This is a Nolan take on one of the most famous stories of all time. I am so excited to see this. Also, just after seeing the trailer and that sequence, wow, he is putting a lot of visual twist on this. It's something that he's never really done before. He's venturing into some, semi fantasy elements here. I'm really excited to see what his take on this story is. I'm also curious, does he play it safe? Does he do some new things that, because this story is the archetype for the hero's journey. Basically, like all stories of all time have come after the Odyssey. This is the blueprint for everything, essentially. So he's really, taking on the most classic story like ever.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, and I think one thing that was so interesting post, the trailer coming out and some footage being released, there's been a lot of hate towards the Odyssey, which is kind of strange to me. When it got announced and all that, I was ecstatic because, Nolan taking that jump to fantasy is so intriguing to me. And we got people on the internet, getting mad about the costume choices and honestly just the visuals of the movie, which I think look phenomenal. I don't want to outright say that it looks like the greatest thing ever, but I am excited to see Nolan again, like you said, take on something that is so distinct in his filmography. He's never done a straight fantasy thing. He's done things that are very out there, sci-fi stuff like that. But I think that following Oppenheimer, this was a very interesting choice.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, I mean, that one post that we posted about the Odyssey, there was so much hate on it. It was like, it was weird. Like, why are people coming at this movie even before it's out? This is his
Yeah.
follow up to his Best Picture win.
People were
Like,
saying, "Oh, you glazing Nolan, this is and that." It's like, yeah, I'll gladly glaze him
yeah, I'll
because his
gladly glaze Nolan. He's one of the
work
best directors working. Like,
his
what?
his work speaks for itself. So I don't understand why people don't like Christopher Nolan anymore. If people just think he's overrated, that they don't like his tone or don't like how he does movies, cool. If it's not your taste, it's not your taste. But where credit's given, credit's gonna be, respect's
There's
gonna be
no
due.
denying that he just provides an insane theatrical experience.
100%.
That's why he pushes
Oppenheimer
so
was
hard
one of
for
the
it.
greatest movies to see in theaters.
Yeah, and it was a biopic about
Yeah.
the guy who made the atomic bomb.
I had the Barbenheimer feature. It was even better the second time seeing Oppenheimer. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
you know, it's going to be interesting to see, I guess, the reactions when it comes out. I'm hoping it really does live up to the hype that we have for it at least. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting that there's a lot of backlash towards it right now. We just got to wait and see because yeah, we know that Nolan can definitely deliver. But yeah, I think moving on, from the Odyssey, because obviously it's going to be huge. We're going to talk about it on the lead up to it, when it comes
Yep.
out. We're ecstatic for it. I think a lot of people are, even with all this new hate that I guess I'm seeing. But I think for me, I was going to say Dune, for my pick.
Yeah.
And now that I have to kind of pivot a little bit, you picked it though, and that's fine. I'm super excited. No, I want to mention this film too, just because it hit my head. I will mention a superhero project because I am very intrigued by Spider Man Brand New Day.
I am too.
I really do hope that Daniel Desencretin, or the guy who directed Shang-Chi, I hope that he can bring a fresh and an energetic direction to Spider-Man. I think my biggest gripe with the Tom Holland trilogy that we've gotten so far was John Watts' direction. I think Homecoming was solid. I liked what they were going for in it.
I do too.
It wasn't a great continuation in Far From Home. I thought it was really bad trying to continue that tone. And then No Way Home is definitely hobbled together. It's a very enjoyable movie. But yeah, again, the direction is not something that really stands out.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of plot holes you notice throughout the film, and that's my issue with No Way Home. Like, I loved it when I saw it. I was like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
amazing. But the more you watch it, it's not like other Marvel movies where it ages well and holds up. It's almost like, yeah, maybe it wasn't as good as we thought it was. And that's not me hating on it. I mean, I love
yeah.
Homecoming
I
a
mean,
lot too.
it's a
But
treat for comic book fans. Like,
yeah,
no
it is.
denying that.
It's
But
giving us what we wanted
yeah,
for sure. Like, it's fan service in a movie, but it's not holding up the way it was supposed to.
yeah, it's not
But
a Spider-Man. It's not the caliber of Spider-Man 2 or anything like that. I
no,
really
it's
want
not.
them to do justice for Tom Holland. I want him to really feel fleshed out as this character.
100%.
I think that, no matter what criticisms you want to give No Way Home, though, it left him in a place where I always wanted him to be. It's a little messy getting there. Of course, the whole world just got their memory erased or all that with Doctor Strange and all that. It's a lot of crazy Marvel, just hey, he can do this, just cause it was the story is interesting how they use Doctor Strange in that and all that. But this movie, they've promised to take a more street level approach. But we know the Hulk's in it. We know the Punisher is in it. There's a lot of details that are scary, but there's a lot of details. There's a lot of details that are exciting. Listen, they said they're trying to recreate a lot of comic panels in this movie. They're trying to bring them down to the street level and give us, a full more focused, at least than No Way Home, Spider-Man movie. But yeah, having other heroes in it is scary. But I will say I'm really excited to see John Bernthal with Tom Holland, and that's not their only movie of the summer. They're in the Odyssey acting against each other as well.
This is a
Yeah.
huge summer for Tom Holland.
Yeah, no, 100%.
A huge
Tom
year
Holland
for
and Zendaya just
multiple
have a huge year.
actors.
It's weird because he kind of like wasn't in theaters too much, 2025. He wasn't really in them at all, and now it's just going to be Tom Holland year again, like especially the summer. We are going to feel his presence in theaters.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Brand New Day may be like 2 weeks after the Odyssey.
No, yeah, it is. It's
I
July
think they're
30.
both
It's
in
July
July.
31st. July 31st is Brand New Day. Midnight release is my birthday, so that's
And the
how.
last thing I want to say about Brand New Day, and one of the things it's going with one of the things I really didn't like about the John Watts movies is that you could really feel it was filmed in Atlanta, or at least not in New York. And I won't say, they didn't go to New York to film this movie, but I will say I really love the change to filming it in London. I think it's going to add a lot to the production of this movie. A lot of the set photos and stuff, very exciting, practical, well, somewhat practical swinging, stuff like that. The stuff we've seen, especially the suit as well, all look good. But I think we're getting a trailer really soon, so I guess we'll speak on that when we see it. There's,
100%.
I
We'll
think
do a
one
reaction.
may have leaked the other week, and people were pretty excited about it.
Yeah,
So
the
yeah,
first
I'm
5 seconds I saw, I was scrolling on TikTok, so I won't say what I saw. It was nothing revealing, but I swiped so fast. I was like, not today.
yeah, I think listen, it's an interesting time for Marvel. Obviously, they got a huge year though. We got this and Doomsday as their two big releases. And I think personally, I'm more excited for Spider Man because I think I've just been waiting for a really, really great Spider Man movie again. And No Way Home, when it came out, I really loved it. It's a gift to Spider Man fans. I can admit that.
Well,
But I
the Spider Verse movies are incredible.
and Spider Verse, but I'm talking live action here. I really, really want to have a classic Spider Man movie again. I don't know if it's achievable in the MCU, but the talent behind this is intriguing to me. I really hope that Destin Creedon can bring a lot to this project because I was personally a fan of Shang-Chi.
Excited to see what the direction is for this one for sure. Especially all these announcements, Hulk, Punisher. Yeah, we got to see what they're cooking.
A
Yeah,
lot to juggle, but I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up well.
I guess let's move on to your number two, Brandon.
Oh, it was Dune. We already went over it. At the
Oh, okay, so it's
back.
Dune.
Yeah, Dune and Odyssey are my 2 and 1. I mean, we already went over both of them, and I gave
Okay,
pretty
I mean
good
those are
feedback
great
on them
picks. I
both,
mean
but,
those are
it's
super
it's a
excited for
basic
both of those.
list. I wish there's a lot of movies I really do like, and I guess maybe there's some interchangeable.
I'm
but
really
I think
shocked because I
my
can't speak
top
for
three.
Noah. Oh yeah, I'm just saying I can't speak for Noah here, but I don't think any of us included Avengers Doomsdays in our top five.
No, we didn't. I was going to point that out, but I think
Yeah.
my top three are pretty solidified. I think five just for the lore and genre, but I think everything else is pretty interchangeable. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by a teenage superhero taking the head of a movie right now. That's just kind
Yeah.
of me.
I think so. I guess I'll move on to my number one. This is my number one pick. It's close to the Odyssey, but I'm going to put this at number one just because this is a director I've been following since the start of his career. 2024, he dropped my favorite movie that year, which was Nosferatu, but Eggers' werewolf movie, which is
Good shout.
his
Very good
yeah,
shout.
it's
I
gonna be
completely
it's a
forgot. That's
December release
December,
this
right?
year. Yeah, it's very late in the year. Honestly, it's coming out the last week of 2026.
Yeah.
But I gotta include it because technically it's coming out this year.
It's following Doomsday.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean it is, that's gonna be an insane week. Oh my god. Dune and Doomsday coming out the same week is nuts.
It's going to be really hype doing the double feature that first night, Dune back to back, and then on Sunday seeing Doomsday.
I love that. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, with Werewolf, I'm just very excited to see I'm always excited to see what Eggers is cooking up. He just mixes my two favorite things. You guys know me. I love history and I love horror. Combining the two, this is what this man does. He makes historical horror movies. And I'm there for every single one of them. I've loved every single piece of his work thus far. The Northland was fantastic. I love The Lighthouse, love The Witch, and Nosferatu, which I thought was his best movie yet. My favorite movie of 2024, and I'm just so excited to see what he cooks up next with this one.
Yeah, I think before I do my pick, I will say I'm really excited that he's continuing his partnership with Lily Rose Depp. She was phenomenal in Nosferatu.
Yeah, we got Aaron Taylor Johnson, which
He's coming back as well. It looks like he might be the werewolf. I'm not positive on that. And we got obviously Willem Dafoe coming back. I love the Eggers Dafoe partnership.
Yeah.
I really hope Dafoe continues to be in every single one of his movies, even if it's for a minute or two, which has happened. But yeah, I'm excited to see a werewolf movie from Eggers.
Yeah, I'm thinking now. I'm not even sure. I mean, maybe what is your number one pick now? I'm trying to think.
My number one pick, and it's kind of wild that you guys never mentioned it yet, because I will say the trailer, I liked it a lot. I think, in his current filmography, the last 10, 15 years, it's not the greatest. But I'm really excited for Spielberg to return to UFO stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And
Really thought you were
yeah,
going to
you
say
could
the
he's done a
Moana
ton
live
of that, all
action.
this and that. But I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see Spielberg try to make a Spielberg movie again. It's like The Fablemans was great. It's a great film. It's a great, addition to his filmography. But I'm excited to see him go back to try to make a blockbuster movie like this.
Yeah.
It's really intriguing. The cast is great. We got Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, which, my introduction to him was Wake Up Dead Man this year. And we'll say he's got a lot of talent. I'm excited. It's crazy he's leading a Spielberg movie. But I will say, yeah, what did you guys think of that first? I don't know if you saw it, but what do you guys think of that first trailer? It was really, really intriguing.
I mean, it's just that this movie looks. You can't really get much from it. It looks absolutely wild. I think that's
Yeah.
the best word to say. But yeah,
that's the best word to describe. I was gonna say crazy, but yeah. close
yeah,
enough.
exactly. I don't even know what's going on with Emily Blunt in that trailer, but like he's got me hooked right off the bat. But yeah, you're right. His return to UFO movies, whatever's going on, aliens, anything. But yeah, his return to making a blockbuster film. Anytime Spielberg releases anything, it's just exciting. It's Spielberg.
Yeah. The title is Disclosure Day. They were marketing it as Spielberg, just, Spielberg's back, which I found very fun. And, once that first trailer dropped, yeah, I think I saw it in theaters for the first time. The sound is creepy, like kind of in an irritating way, to be honest. The sound that, Emily Blunt makes, on the news in that trailer, which is used a lot in the trailer. It's creepy, mysterious. It really was intriguing to me. Yeah, it doesn't reveal much. I think it was a perfect trailer. I don't want to see anything else from the movie. I'm sold. I'm seated. So yeah, I'm not sure if it really. I think my number one really is Dune, but you picked it.
Yeah.
So this would have been my number two, but I will say I'm really, really excited for Spielberg to return to something like this.
I do really think we all had some really solid lists here. It's shocking to me that Doomsday wasn't on one of these, but that goes to show how stacked this year is.
Yeah, but Avengers Doomsday not being on like anyone's list it isn't as much a shocker to me, I'd say. I think also we're kind of on a cold streak with Marvel, which also kind of might have pushed it away from our list. Like you look at what's coming to us in theaters with Doomsday, it's actually stacked and it's crazy to the fact that we're getting the X-Men back and everything. So
yeah.
I agree with you. It's wild it's not on anybody's list at all. But like I said, my bottom two are really interchangeable. I really could put Doomsday in there, but I don't know.
Honestly, same.
like
It's definitely close. It's in my top 10.
I feel like
no doubt.
longevity impacted the bottom two movies I picked. I thought are what's really important, and my top three are solidified. They're not moving.
I mean, there's honestly a lot of other movies I'd put my excitement like over Doomsday. Like, I'm just not sold on it. I don't think anyone really is because, listen, it's all even right now the trailers that have come out. It's all just nostalgia bait and all that. Like, I haven't really been locked in on Marvel like that. I picked Spider-Man on my list because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
Yeah, I think we all agree for this channel, just like when we saw the announcement as RDJ returning as Doctor Doom, we were just like, okay, like, what's going on?
It just seems a little desperate, but I will say, to give it credit, it is crazy he's coming back post-Oscar win. Like, obviously it's for a bag or whatever, but
he's going to make so much money off this.
I think he had to turn down the Odyssey because of Doomsday and probably Secret Wars, let's be honest, he's probably in that too. But yeah, it's going to be a very, exciting year, I think. I'm really, really hyped to see non-IP stuff, as well as, the franchises coming back. But yeah, I think we're looking forward to a very, very good year, hopefully at the movies. So yeah, hopefully all these movies are great. We will find out. We'll be talking about them on the pod as they do release. But for Give Me Rent, this has been Noah, Brandon, and Dylan. We'll catch you guys next time.